Your parents love you and only want the best for you. You should be incredibly grateful for them because without them, you wouldn't have the luxury of watching this video on your phone that they probably paid for or on internet that they probably are paying for every month. Without them, you wouldn't have the luxury of sitting wherever you're able to sit right now or having a roof above your head or having fucking heating when it's so fucking cold outside, right? You wouldn't have that luxury at all, so you should feel immense love and gratitude for your parents because they love you back so much more and they've sacrificed so much for your existence. But you already know that, so let me tell you something else that you must remember if you want to be a top 1% successful man. Your parents are human beings just like you. They are not messengers from God. They give you advice based on their own life experiences, but they don't know what's right for you all the time. And that makes sense. How could they know? Chances are your parents are average people who work pretty average jobs that most people can get and have like a decent salary per year. So all the advice that they give you is for people who will end up with an average life. Maybe your parents are fucking insane and they're millionaires and rich and wealthy and successful and famous and all that shit, but most of us aren't like that. We probably have pretty average parents who make a decent salary and they probably do normal people things like watch TV and maybe even scroll on reels. So what you need to understand is that you should only really listen to their advice if the direction of life that you want to go in is the same direction of life that they went in. So if you want to be a doctor and your dad is a doctor, then by all means listen to all of his advice like a good boy. But if your parents are pretty decent people who work 9 to 5 jobs, and you want to be some successful millionaire entrepreneur, then their advice simply won't work for you. The only way your parents' advice would work for you if they're working a normal job and you want to be some successful businessman, if you want to be like that, then you better hope that your parents are doing research before they give you the advice, like research on entrepreneurship, on business, on the field that you want to go into. You better hope they're doing that because only that way their advice will be useful to you. Because in that case, they're just trying to help you succeed. They're not just like, you can't be a filmmaker because I said so. In that case, that argument is built on no logical reasoning, right? It's just based on the parents' own experiences that showed them that being a, example I said was filmmaker, that showed them that being a filmmaker was not a good idea. Or maybe some other person, their friend or whatever the fuck, who's also average, told them that being a filmmaker is not a good idea. But the thing is, your parents and their friend that they consulted, that person's also fucking average, right? Because if they asked a fucking millionaire entrepreneur, why the fuck would the millionaire say, no, don't let your kid do what I do and also become a millionaire? Why the fuck would they say that? They want you to win just like they did, right? But your parents probably gonna ask some normal average friend for their advice, and both of them don't know what direction of life you should actually go in. Nobody knows what direction of life you are supposed to go in except for you. Your parents' job was just to advise you and raise you so that you can become a young man who's not a fucking retard and can make decisions for himself and choose the direction of life that he wants to walk in. Because you're a man and you make your own decisions. You choose what direction in life that you go into. Your parents are just there to advise you until you're mature enough to do that, right? But chances are, if you're watching this video, you're probably on the younger side of the YouTube audience, right? So your parents are probably still telling you shit. But even if you're on the older side, your parents still might be telling you stuff and their advice. So I'm going to tell you that for all the advice that they give you, you need to process it and filter it out accordingly. You have to ask yourself, is this advice something that they're giving me because of their honestly irrelevant, outdated life experience? Or is it because they actually did research on it and it's a pretty logical piece of advice to give me? They still love you, of course, and they want what's best for you, but they don't know what's best for you until you tell them, because you are the only person who knows what's best for you. And you need to do what's best for you before you end up becoming a gear in the middle class system, and then maybe you become a better gear over time, but you're still a fucking gear because that was how getting rich and successful worked in your parents' time. But it doesn't work now. We already know that, right? The times have changed. The game of success has changed. Everything has changed, and your parents won't understand that until you go out there in the direction of life that you chose yourself. and you become successful and you become a top 1% man and you ultimately prove it to them, regardless of their perspective beforehand, it will change with your success. This video won't change your life. You will.